a very good season.
Very good season.
Amazing.
I want to move on to, we've got to, not because it's my club, but we've got to. There is a little Europa League final going on in about 9 days' time. And it literally is the battle of two teams who are in dreadful, dreadful form. Both Spurs and Man United have not won for 6 Premier League games each. Both have won 1 in 10, right? Both football clubs are an absolute shambolic state in the Premier League. And both of them, by hook or crook, have got a get out of jail free card for 90 minutes in Bilbao, guys. I'll come to George last because he's got more skin in the game than the rest of you, and so have I. What do you lot, first of all, feel free to take the piss, I don't care. What do you lot make about Spurs and Man U being in the final? Who's it more important to in terms of, you know, you're going to have 5 or 6 teams. You're going to have 6 teams. 6 English teams are going to be in the Champions League. You're going to have clubs, maybe 1 or 2 that don't make it, maybe a Villa or a Newcastle that are still going to spend and still up there. How important is this, guys? And who's the favourites in your eyes and why?
I'd probably say United is probably favourite. I know you've beaten them 3 times this year, Sava, but I don't know what it is about them. It doesn't matter how bad they are. They always seem to find a way when their trophies are on the line. Done it FA Cup, they've done it Carabao Cup, and they've done it. It looks like they could potentially do it. And they haven't lost a game in this competition, and yet they're losing games for fun in the Premier League. But look, Spurs have absolutely got a chance, for sure. You've beaten them 3 times this year, so and United are no better than they were in all those other times you've played them. But I just think it's such a strange approach from both teams to just be throwing away league games, not caring about them in the build-up to a big final. What happens if you lose that final? You know, you've got a load of demotivated players, don't know how to win consistently, and then you've got new signings that won't come because there's going to be no European football, or it's a choice of joining a club that's just finished 16th or 17th. So whoever loses this final for me is going to have a very, very hard time signing any decent players in the summer. So you've put all your eggs in Europa League basket.
Even with Mr. Levy at the helm.
Even with Mr. Levy. But like, I don't understand why they're just throwing away league games like it don't matter. As if like going into a final on like a 6, 7, 8 game losing streak is good preparation. I just don't understand it. Can you not manage winning like a couple games a week? Is that, or playing twice a week? What's the idea behind throwing away league games to prepare for a final? Surely losing every week is not good preparation for a final.
Do you know? I always think
just quickly, Charlie, just before Roms comes in, Charlie, just in Spurs' defence, and take this how you will, I don't think we're throwing games because we're in a Europa League final. We've lost 20 games. We've lost 20 games of the season. We've been throwing games all year.
It's a fair point.
We don't know what it's like to win in the Premier League anymore. It's been that long.
Do you know what?
By the way, that 1 in 10 that Spurs have won, George, remember who it was against? The 1 in 10?
United?
It was United in the last 10. Or no, sorry, Ipswich 4-1. Wait, you talking about last 10 games?
The last 10 games we won once. Do you know who it was?
Bodo
Glimt. It was last month. It was at the start of
Southampton.
Oh, that's it. Southampton. I knew it was on the bottom side. Southampton.
Hey, City couldn't do it. City couldn't
Only
do
Southampton.
Yeah, we're better than
we won
City.
4 games since the turn of the year. That's what I know. Since the turn of the year, I remember 4 Premier League games. That's Ipswich, Southampton, United, Brentford. I think they're the only games we've won.
That's mad.
Just before we go on, then, so I'll show you something. Right? Have a look at this. Have a look at this. This will make it makes me laugh, and I'm a Spurs fan. If it doesn't make you laugh, if this offends you as a Spurs fan, I'm sorry, but it's all I've got to hang on to.
You've got to give up, man.
Here's a couple of things. So this is. Let me remove the banner. This is every season Tottenham have had. So we were relegated in 77, then came back up in 78. So this is every season we've had since 1978 in the top divisions. If you look at the bottom in yellow, which is obviously this season with Ange, he is bottom of every metric other than goals scored. It's our lowest league position, our lowest points, our most defeats, and our lowest number of wins. That is Tottenham this season under Ange Postecoglou. If that's not bad enough, Charlie, one sec. If that's not bad enough, have a look at this. So this is Spurs. Spurs lost their first game under Ange in November 2023. Bearing in mind we're in May 2025. This is Tottenham. This is Tottenham. I know it's a bit small, but if you actually look, the key metric here is the row with the 2.36 in the yellow at the top, all the way down. That's Tottenham's points per game. For 18 months, 19 months, it's just deteriorated week on week on week on week on week. And in that time, guys, in that time, Tottenham have taken, in 44 games, we've taken 44 points. We're averaging a point a game for our last 44 Premier League games. So when people tell you it's injuries, when people tell you it's because of the Europa League Cup run, look at that. That's 32 Premier League defeats, by the way, in those last 64 games.
But you know what's mad, right? That genuinely, if the three teams that came up weren't so bad, United and Spurs could have got relegated. Both teams with 2 games, both teams with 2 games left haven't even reached 40 points.
Do you know why this is a false narrative? I've actually looked at this. Like, I've gone back the last 10 years on the teams that got relegated, and none of them are finished on 38 points or so. They all finish low 30s, maybe 28s, and then you always have a team that's 15. So I get the narrative. Spurs and Man United have played as bad as those teams, but neither of us point tallies would get us relegated in the last 10 Premier League seasons. So I do think it's a made-up narrative by fans to, push the fact of how bad we've been to make it look worse.
Do you know what?
Just to point this out,
wasp in my room. Sorry.
I just see it. I thought it was in here. I thought it went past my
So if I do that and act like a right little girl, you know why. Sorry, carry on as you were.
Just to point it out to you, George, because you may not know this, but if the quality of the teams that came up were better, they don't lose all the games that they lose, which means they have more points, which means you necessarily wouldn't have the points.
No, I know the point that you're making, Hook, but the point that I'm saying to dispute that is we've seen better teams come up. The narrative has been the last 2 seasons with the worst seasons that we've had from promotional sides, and all 3 of them get relegated. Yeah, and then we've had better years where that doesn't happen, and even still, the 3 teams that get relegated always finish with points less than what Man United and Tottenham are right now. So I ain't trying to make us seem like we've not had a bad season. We've had a very bad season, but I'm just, putting the facts out there.
Do you know
what you're saying? We're sitting there with a cigar, not worried at all. We're good. We knew what we were doing. We knew how many points we needed, and we got there 10 games ago. Yeah.
You asked the question at the start: who is it more important for? By the way, I think I can speak for every Liverpool and City fan. I'm the biggest Spurs fan on the May 21st. I don't like United winning any trophy, right? But I do think the reason why I think it's more important.
Same as Hooks, Roms.
No, Hooks will probably be more for the other side. Probably, you know what? I haven't seen Arsenal fans saying, "Look, we don't see Spurs as rivals. We want United to lose." So maybe it's a bit 50-50 in the Arsenal camp. But the reason why I think it's more important for United, right? Because I think you and George would agree. Regardless if you win this trophy, I think Andrew's gone. Where if Amorim loses this trophy, I think Amorim's gone. But I think if he wins, they'll do the same thing that they did with Ten Hag. I think Wolf was saying it earlier. It will be deja vu. They'll just give him they'll give him more time based off the premise that he's won Europa League. And we need to understand as well, Europa League's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. If you're not already in that top 6, top 5, top 6, you'll get Champions League with it as well. But I feel like you're going to sack Ange regardless, where I think this, whether Amorim stays or not, is dependent on whether he wins this trophy. And what's so funny is football fans are fickle. Even though you two have had abysmal seasons, I think the worst season for both clubs, if you do win this trophy, fans aren't going to care. It's going to be as if these 38 games have not happened. And that's just how football is. You're going to lift something at the end, you're going to have a nice day out, and you're going to be in Champions League football. But to answer your question, Sab, I think it's slightly more important for United. But then the narrative of you've not won anything since 2008, it's very close. But I think in terms of building, I think it's more for United because their manager's more recent. Your manager would have been in 2 years. So I think it's slightly more important for them. God forbid they win. I'm a biggest Spurs fan. I need you lot to do the business.
I think it's massive. I think it's massively more important for Manchester United because they are in financial shit to the nth degree. Tottenham are never going to be in that situation. They've got plenty of money. If Man U don't win this and get into the Champions League, how are they going to fund Amorim's rebuild? They're not going to be able to do it. Simple as that. And all that'll happen is it will continue to get worse, which we can all pray for. So
aren't they already in
even
talks though
though-
with Cunha? Aren't they already in talks
Yeah,
with Cunha?
Yeah,
probably
yeah, but it's not done yet. It's not done yet. Chelsea are hanging about. You know what they're like. They've only got to decide they want Cunha, and they'll go
they
to
don't have a
Chelsea.
scouting team. They just wait for every other deal to be
Yeah.
nearly done and then go, we'll have a bit.
So they'll
Trust
go,
me, I
what's
know.
Man U offering you? We'll offer you double and 10 years
Thanks,
contract. Right? So for Man U, for me, it's massively important. And listen, I have no fondness for Tottenham Hotspur. But the fact that they've not won for so long is highly amusing. But on this occasion, I am going to want Tottenham to win because I want to see Man U to go down, 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 down.
Hooks,
That's
who
it.
do you want to win?
Does anyone believe that though? Like, sorry, Hooks. Like a lot of football fans are running with this narrative at the moment that if Man U don't get it, Man U won't have any money. And I always hear this about clubs like Man U, clubs like Barcelona. They always somehow find money.
They always spend it.
But
Yeah.
Hooks, haven't they? They've got like Sancho, you would probably think is going to be sold this summer. Rashford will probably be sold this summer. Casemiro will probably leave this summer, leaving, I don't know, what's he on, 300 grand a week. Surely United will find money somewhere, won't they, Hooks?
I mean, they're building a new stadium as well, innit? So not only like money,
Are they?
money is like really like, yeah, money's an issue for United. I won't like money, and they've got like what they need to do to build their squad for it to compete in the league. It is cost way more than whatever money those sales will generate. And truth be told, like if teams know that they're in a bad space and they need to take money, they'll just teams can take advantage of that. So I do think that it would be like astronomically worse for Manchester United if they do not win in the final, just because of like it would be like they brought in Amorim to go forward, but now they've actually gone like maybe 5 steps backwards in their process.
The worst manager of all time at United. I think he's been their worst ever manager.
Yeah, like it's.
Can I throw something in, Hooks? Can I throw something in? I don't know whether anyone else has factored this in, right? And again, I'm playing devil's advocate here. It's not because I'm a Spurs fan. I'm just playing devil's advocate. When people talk about it being more important to Man United for finances, for stadium, etc., don't forget that the Spurs stadium that was built on the premise of having don't forget we've got essentially a mortgage on the stadium every year that we've got to pay. I believe it's something like £33 million. Don't quote me. It might be a little bit less, a little bit more.
Oh, you're still paying
We've
for
got to pay that every year. We've
I
got.
didn't realize it. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
Yeah. We didn't build it out. We didn't build it out right. We've borrowed loads. We've borrowed loads against it, but on a good rate. So we're still paying that, right? So this stadium was built. It was very expensive. It was like 1.2 billion. Was built on the premise of money coming into the club and revenue. Now, if Spurs don't get Champions League, by the way, I don't think we deserve it in any way, shape, or form. But that's football. If we don't get Champions League, guys, we lose out on, what is it? Anything between 70 and 100 million in the Champions League, depending on how far you go. Plus, got to remember, at the moment, chaps, we are 12 places below where we finished last season in the Premier League. 12, right? That means we are currently £37 million down on Premier League prize money. So when people are talking about it only means to Man United, what will Spurs do? Because the likes of Romero will go. Kulu will go. There's reports that Maddison will want out. Spurs won't have any European football. We don't have that much money. We're asset rich. We're not cash rich. Don't you think for Spurs as well, this is a huge sliding doors moment?
Spurs will be fucked as well. That's what I said earlier, Sam. If I ever lose, you lose this final, you come 17th in the league. Who's going to want to join Spurs to make the team better?
Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good look, is it?
It's not good.
You know what? I assumed something earlier, but this is a question for you and for George and Savo. I just assume, but and is going regardless if you win this trophy or not. Like, I'd like to think
it'd be. I don't think it's safe to assume, but I'd like to think, yeah.
Oh, it's got
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah, I just thought
We all say our prayers.
No,
at
do you know
night,
what? It's not
George.
safe to assume. I think the thing for me is you've got to look at, especially Manchester United last season. You've got to look at. I mean, the last time we won a trophy, it was the exact same thing as in we finished bottom half of the table. We won a trophy. We gave the manager a chance. I think it's understandable if, like, I can understand the premise and why they might give him a chance, but I'm not, and I'm sure Sav is the same. We don't want him in. We've seen enough of Ange. We don't want him to continue. So he's got to go, but it's not safe for us to assume that he is going to go, because I don't think that necessarily is 100% the case. But more than anything, on this topic of who needs it more, I think Man United are in a place where they're Man United. They always need a trophy. So there's no doubt about that. Like Charlie started off the conversation, they would be favourite going into this final. I have them as favourites going into the final. It's a final. It's Man United. The Spurs aren't supposed to win finals. That's the narratives that's already out there. And we haven't necessarily had a good record of that in the last 25 or 30 years. So it's understandable if we're not going to go in there as favourites. But at the same time, the way that I'm looking at it is the game plan is simple. Ange goes into the dressing room, says, do what you guys done 3 times already this season. You've beat this Amorim team twice. Like there shouldn't be much of a different game plan to go in there. It shouldn't overcomplicate it. Just go in there and do what you guys have already done this season twice and quite comfortably. Because all